Poster and communications expert Lee Carter. What's your take on that last discussion?
Well, I think actually people are getting energized right now by Rubio. I've done a lot of testing over the last week, and I thought that maybe his performance was going to test even better than it did. I'm not sure it's going to change minds, but people said, oh my gosh, he finally seems relaxed. He seems comfortable in his own skin. He's trying out a different side. We're seeing a different side of Rubio. People are responding to it. And what I've also been hearing is that they see him now as acting more like a leader, and Cruz is like, I don't even know where he is anymore.
Well, Cruz seems to be kind of, missing in action right now. All the cameras are on the two of them. But let me ask you, Rubio is still projected not to win his own state of Florida, where he is a United States senator. I mean, that's an embarrassment, but that's not until the 15th. Let's talk about Super Tuesday.
Super Tuesday.
This Tuesday. Okay, what do you see happening as between Trump and Rubio?
I think Trump's going to win it. I mean, I think Trump's going to win big. All of them.
Really?
I think maybe there's 2 or 3 that he might not win. Texas, probably not. But here's the thing that's so interesting about it. It's proportional on Super Tuesday.
Right.
And what that means is unless you get more than 50% of the votes, you don't take all the delegates. It gets proportionally allocated. So, Trump could win big and Cruz could win big in Texas and say that's a big victory for him. If he doesn't get more than 50% of the votes, they're going to split it 3 ways. It could be a big, big problem.
Well, and of course, Texas has the biggest prize with 155 delegates for the Republicans.
That's right.
And as it relates to Rubio, Cruz, if it's just Texas, then I suspect you don't see many more for him.
I don't see many more at all for him, especially because that's the only state where he seems to be performing well. The other thing that's really important to be watching right now is momentum. So if you look at the polls, you look at the trend lines right now, Cruz is dropping. Trump is gaining. Rubio is really gaining. And so it's really interesting to understand the momentum. It's important going into Super Tuesday. Although if somebody doesn't win big on Super Tuesday, it's going to be really, really hard for them to gain momentum going forward.
Well, is it possible for Donald Trump to lock it up on Super Tuesday?
I don't think it is possible for him to lock it up on Super Tuesday. I think the perception will be that he locks it up. But unless he goes in with a lot more delegates, I mean, he's got to have a significant number more delegates, because after that, then it's winner takes all. But the fear is if he doesn't go in with more than 50% of delegates after Super Tuesday, that a lot of things can change, that we could have some people drop out. I mean, imagine if Cruz dropped out. I can't imagine that happened, but suddenly you'd have a race.
But, the interesting part of Rubio is that they tried to get Jeb Bush to support him. He wouldn't. He tried to get Chris Christie to support him, and Chris Christie wouldn't. And, there is all of these attempts to get people to support Rubio, and it's not happening. So if things go as planned, Florida goes to Trump, assuming that Trump doesn't lock it up on Super Tuesday. After the 15th of March in Florida, then is there still a possibility of a brokered convention?
I don't think so. I don't think that there's really any way that Trump's not the nominee. I can see a few paths right now, but I cannot imagine a world that happens right now that doesn't go for Trump, because it doesn't seem like there's any major gaffe that he can make. It doesn't seem like there's anything that
he can't say anything else.
No, he can't say anything else. And other candidates have ever been able to figure out any way to make them seem stronger, or like they're going to trust him more on the issues that matter most.
Let me ask you a question. If you've got Bernie Sanders on the left, and his supporters are rabid, and he doesn't win the nomination, Democratic, especially with superdelegates, which makes it rigged in my mind. Will some of those discontents and malcontents from the Democratic Party reach over to the outsider on the Republican side?
I think they will. And this is a thing that I have found so fascinating about the whole race so far, is when you're talking to voters, this is so emotionally charged. People are tired of politics as usual. They're tired of being promised the moon and not seeing things. They want something that's very different. So I have talked to many voters out there who are saying, I'm considering between
crossing
Trump and Sanders, I'm considering crossing party lines. If it's Hillary, I'm not going to vote for her.
There's another piece to it. I think the unions, or the blue-collar unions, are coming out for Trump.
Oh, that's fascinating to me. It is absolutely 100% correct. We're seeing the blue collar coming out in favor of Trump in a really big way. He's got a very, very interesting, smart message. If you look at him, he's got 5 policies. One of his big policies is trade. Trade is so important to unions because trade means jobs that are coming back to America. And that is huge. People want to see manufacturing come back. In these states like Ohio, in these places that are struggling all across the country, trade matters a lot. trust Trump, and I think he's going to have a big time with unions, and we haven't seen a Republican like that in a long time.
In a really long time. And, you know, part of the problem is that, you know, in '86, when President Reagan said, you know, we're going to give amnesty and then everything's going to be on lockdown, and it never happened. And I think they now believe Donald Trump. Anyway, Lee Carter, always great having you on the show.
Great to be here. Thanks so much.
Thank you.